Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Returning to studio is Chef Anthony, and we're continuing to make Midwest sushi.
Midwest sushi, yes.
And we were discussing how Midwest sushi is different than what I'm accustomed to when it comes to sushi, because it's fish. And Chef Anthony, you're saying that sushi's not about the fish.
No, it's not about the fish. It's all about the rice. The rice that you're using is a sushi rice. It's traditional sushi rice, but you can put anything that you want on it. And the beautiful thing about this is the beef is Crawford County beef. And I brought some vegetables and some things to kind of spice it up just a little bit. And we're using some of my traditional seasoning blends that I love to use. So we're going to do something, and sushi should always be about what's available to you in your general area.
All right.
So we have a beautiful piece of filet here, and I've cut it thin, and I seasoned it up with our smoked onion and jalapeno blend, and just a touch of salt. And we're working to get a good little sear on both sides, get a little bit of color on it, and then we'll flip it over, and then we're going to let it rest for a minute or two, and then we'll actually assemble some sushi for you.
Well, I'm excited about that. And tell us the reason why you chose this cut of meat in particular.
Well, the filet is nice and tender. There's hardly any fat inside the filet. Most of it's always trimmed off. So you get a nice tender piece. It's beautiful for this. If you want to go off and you really want to show off, use a piece of strip steak.
Okay. And
cut it really thin. Or if you really just want to blow people's socks off and show them what you can do, use your sous vide that we talked about last year.
Oh, those are great.
Use that to produce it, so you end up with super intensified flavors, but you can do anything that you want with it, and you can use almost any cut of meat. I did this with a chuck roast.
Really?
So, and working with the chuck roast is usually a very stubborn, tough piece of meat, but it's all about how you treat it.
So I know I'm stuck in my old sushi way of thinking, but you take one, you pop it in your mouth. It might be 2 bites or 1 bite. Yep. Is this going to be a 1 bite or a 2?
We're going to make these just a little bit larger than your traditional 1 bite, so it's going to be a good mouthful.
Okay, great.
And there we go. We have beautiful color on both sides of that filet. We'll take that off the heat. We're going to let that rest just a little bit.
Okay.
And it's beautiful in its color. Now, remember, when you cut something like this and you're showing it off, you want to cut with the grain, so the grain structures are real short.
Okay, so when you say with the grain, you can see the lines across?
Lines across, so you're going to cut it so that you're cutting across those lines. You're cutting those lines really short.
Gotcha.
So that it tears real easy. When a steak's really chewy, it's because somebody cut it with the grain.
Really? It actually changes the consistency.
It changes the consistency and how tender it is. So it's all about the cut. Filet works really well because you can get that really short, compact grain, and it'll tear real easy. It's nice and tender. You don't lose it in anything else that you make.
I love that. Well, stay tuned, because we'll have the final 3 parts to see what he comes up with for the Midwest sushi right after the break.